Hey gang, this is Rocky from What's the Fuss podcast. You're listening to Color Me Dead. While you're listening, don't forget to rate 5 stars and go check out the Facebook. While you're there, check us out too.
Welcome to Color Me Dead.
So who's going first?
I don't care. I guess we should say hi to people first. Kind of like,
Hello, everybody.
hello, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome.
This has been a crazy fucking night.
This eve. Like, we had fun on the live video, and that was cool, but then, like, our audio stuff kind of went to shit, and,
Yeah, your mic. You gotta talk into the front.
her.
Right in the middle. Like, right at the base, kind of. Right
You said at the base.
at the base.
That reminds me of, like, it makes two to make a thing go right. Because as soon as somebody says bass, I'm like, Rob bass. Yeah, I grew up in the 90s. It's not my fault. Anyway, we've had some audio issues. One of our mics kind of didn't shit the bed, but it's very clear that the internals on the mic, auxiliary plug, are not functioning right now.
Yeah, so tomorrow I'll call them.
Yeah,
Because that's not okay.
no, it's a brand new goddamn microphone.
Yeah, and maybe what we can do is we can swap it out for a different one
Maybe.
that is around the same price,
Quality.
and then they don't have that same digital thumbprint, so it might make it easier.
Oh, to like mix and record. That'd be good.
Yeah.
So, but then
Tonight we are doing
some interesting things.
children who chill.
Children who chill people.
Jesus.
Chill children.
Children who kill other kids.
Yes.
So we can do.
We have 2 different cases, and we decided that we were just going to like do the split ski and have one weed. Oh my God.
It's okay. We'll get that.
Children who children's the weed it today, Junior. God.
Well, we can do. So mine is sad.
Mine's gross. More
Yeah,
gross than it
yours
is sad.
Yours is more gross than sad. So
Why don't you go first and I'll finish up with gross?
Okay. There's a part in here where I've cried every single time.
Oh, honey, I'm sorry.
I know. And it's not even the murder. It's the thing that happens after. I know, I'm weird. I can't explain it.
So tell me about your case, because they both happened like right around the same time.
Same year.
Same year.
That's weird. I didn't even realize that until just this moment.
I kind of did too. I was like, oh.
So we're going to take you back to 1995. I was 5 years old.
I would have been 15. Yeah.
Cool.
I'd have been working on my driver's license.
I was learning my letters. Okay. Anyways. So mine is it every time. I know how to say Saskatchewan, but
Saskatchewan.
Yeah, every time.
Alaska.
Canada.
All right. Well, Canada too.
We're in La Ronge, which is in northern Saskatchewan. I know, and I've said it perfect 800 times today.
Saskatchewan.
I'm looking at it.
Is there also one in Alaska, or am I just fucking stupid? I might just be stupid.
Don't ask me. I don't know.
Somebody that lives in Alaska should tell me if that exists.
I don't know my archaeology. I know that's not correct, guys.
It was a joke.
It was a funny.
It was a good one, though. I don't know much about archaeology, man.
But that crater should be bigger. I may have been up on the mountain and I was watching Evolution, and in the beginning,
oh my God, that's one of my meteor.
Jesus, I can't English.
That's one of my favorite fucking movies ever.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Annie, I'll save you. He saves the fucking dummy doll from the fire that he started.
Yes. But when the crater is created, I said, that's not big enough. I'm no archaeologist, but
that hole should look bigger.
That hole should be bigger. And then later with the one guy that ends up getting the forceps up his ass.
Oh, yeah. Well, I need an ice cream. What flavor? Doesn't matter. It's for my ass.
But in the beginning of the show, he makes so many mouth noises.
Right.
So I was writing notes because, I'm dumb. And I wrote, you made mouth noises. That's why you have to get ice cream on your ass later. It's called karma, bitch.
Oh my God, Ember.
I know.
Anyway.
I cannot. Okay. I'm beating around the bush because this story is a little sad.
Okay, hit me.
So we're going to go to Canada.
Okay.
Where a 14-year-old boy with the help of he was either 7, 8, it's conflicting. Some say 7, some say 8. We don't know anything about this other kid that helped the 14-year-old boy.
Right.
So he was 7 or 8. Just depends. And they would help lure another 8-year-old boy into the woods and kill him as a satanic cult offering, if you will. And so this one is sad. It deals with a child being brutally murdered. So if you don't want to hear that, just skip forward for a little bit.
Well, you're going to hear it on both sides, so you might want to just skip to the end where we do shout outs and awesome things.
Right, exactly. So 14-year-old Sandy Charles would murder 8-year-old Jonathan Timpson.
It's very difficult to say. I actually know this because I watched this documentary, but every time I try to say his last name,
you have to say it like you have a lisp.
Yeah.
Timpson.
Just a wee lad.
And he would have Sandy Charles, who was 14 at the time, he would have 7, 8-year-old helper.
Like accomplice.
So Sandy was into ritual killings after he was obsessed with the movie Warlock and Warlock 2.
Okay. If you guys have never seen those movies.
Oh, they're so terrible.
Oh, they're fucking awful.
They're awesomely awful.
It's kind of like watching Shocker.
So what would happen is he ends up watching this movie 13 times back to back. Okay. It's maybe good to watch maybe once every decade.
So literally me with the never-ending story in Harry Potter.
But his was Warlock.
Warlock.
Yes. So he started to develop this crazy belief that every 1,000 years Satan would rise.
Okay.
And come to Earth.
Is that what it sounds like when Satan comes?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It sounds like, you know what? Maybe, oh my God, I just had the weirdest thought that maybe when Satan comes, like actual, sexual comes, it's like, send me an angel. Send me I don't know why. Dude, that just.
I love it.
Things I think of.
So if Satan comes every 1,000 years in order to become a disciple of Satan, one would have to make a sacrifice.
Mary.
So,
I don't know, Lindsay, is this true?
An unbaptized virgin. And so that's when Sandy started setting his eyes on little Jonathan.
Okay.
Because if
does it ever say like
saved.
what? Oh, then they don't.
Yeah, you can't sacrifice it.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
So he also planned on taking parts of the boy's flesh to cook down and consume, much like what happens in the movie Warlock, where he cooks flesh, renders it down, eats it, and then he gains supernatural abilities.
Like, he absorbs the life force or whatever the fuck.
He was able to fly, and Sandy, that's what he wanted. Later, it would say that
Were Sandy's parents closely related?
Well, no.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's always a possibility. But later, Sandy Charles would say that he couldn't bring himself to actually eat Jonathan, which I
thank God for that.
You. So we'll go into a little bit of Sandy's early life. He was born to a single mom who was 17 at the time when he was born, and his father was never in the picture. So, I mean, they could have been.
Wasn't this kid native?
I think they all were.
Like grew up on the res.
And his mother would go on to have 2 more kids, and since Sandy was the oldest, he kind of became the one that took care of them all, especially when mom was working so hard to support now 3 children.
Right. Well, that first kid, most responsible.
Yep. He was basically a live-in babysitter, and he seemed pretty normal. He had a paper route. He had lots of friends. And then around age 13 is when things started to change. He dropped his paper route. He became more isolated. And he would say that that's around the same time that he would start hearing voices in his head.
Oh.
That's always a good sign. And he said that he would often try to kill himself, but then the voices had said that it would be easier to just kill somebody else.
Oh, so like the voices were talking him off the suicide ledge into the homicide cavern.
All
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then...
Hey.
Yeah.
Not you.
Not you.
Someone else.
An unbaptized virgin. That will be just as good.
Okay.
And Sandy would actually say that there's a spirit in my room that gave me these thoughts, is what he would tell police once he was apprehended later. And so...
That's interesting.
Yeah, later he would actually be diagnosed with schizophrenia. So these were just...
Of course he fucking was.
Early signs of it.
Right.
Yeah. And so as he's having all these voices talking into his head, he's getting obsessed with the Warlock movies. He's also playing with Ouija boards at this point.
Warlock was probably like a calming mechanism for him. Like if you're watching that trash that many times, that poor kid probably was doing it to drown out whatever was in his head.
Exactly. So, I mean, I kind of feel, he was a sick kid.
Yeah, he was.
But he was also a sick kid, if you know what I mean. So he's spiraling out of control. Warlock 13 fucking times. 1 and 2. Okay. So 1 is bad. 2
is worse.
Oh my God. That would make me want to jump off a ledge.
Yeah, but would it make you want to kill an 8-year-old?
No, it would not. So the murder would actually take place on July 8th of 1995, which is actually my mom's birthday. And
happy birthday, Mom, I think.
Happy birthday, Mom. So Sandy and his little friend
brought you a virgin. Sorry.
No, you're good. So Sandy and his little friend would invite Jonathan to come and play ball with him. And as they're playing ball, he intentionally hit the ball into the woods. Now, in the woods, he already had all of his stuff set
to lure him out. Oh, bummer.
So he was like, yeah, we're going to play ball. I'm going to whack the ball into the woods. And then here I already have all this stuff for my ritual killing set up.
Okay. All right.
Once they were in the woods, Sandy would try to break Jonathan's neck, but he quickly realized that
that's not something that's very doable.
Yeah, it's not as easy as he thought it was going to be. Dropping over the...
Oh, my candies. I'm addicted to icebreaker sours, the berry kind. They're delicious.
So then so this part is the thing that's hard because you have a 14-year-old and an 8-year-old trying to kill another 8-year-old. They're not very strong.
No.
And they have no concept of really what they're doing.
No.
So he tries to break his neck. That doesn't work.
No, essentially all you're going to do is fucking give him a really bad muscle sprain.
Then they tried to stab him multiple times. They tried to smother him. They started hitting him with rocks.
Oh my God.
Sandy, as he's stabbing Jonathan, even broke a knife off in his eye socket. In little Jonathan's eye socket. He also slit his throat and completely caved in his skull. So finally...
Is this fucking kid, did he finally fucking die? Because I'm at the point where can he just die now? Because I don't want him to suffer anymore.
Yeah, he suffered a lot, which is hard because he's his baby.
He broke a fucking knife
in his eye socket.
And then they crushed his head in with rocks.
And so finally, after Jonathan passed away, now Sandy had to go back to his house because his knife broke, but he still needs a knife to cut ribbons of flesh off of him so he can cook it down.
Because he needs to fly.
Yes. Okay. So he runs back to his house, grabs a knife, comes back. He had to get 7 patches of flesh and he took them from his legs and his back.
So, but what about his little friend? Where the fuck is this kid?
The friend stayed with the body.
Okay. Ew. All right.
They put the flesh into an empty can and then they dragged the body about 100 yards deeper into the woods, kind of behind a bush. And then they just left him there. And for 3 days, nobody could find Jonathan. They're looking high, low, everywhere for him. You're facing. You're giving me.
Well,
right
I'm trying to wrap my brain around a fucking. He must have been a pretty good sized 14-year-old.
No, he's kind of a string bean.
Was he?
I think just with the help of his friend, they were able to kind of.
Because dead body weight is a lot, even for an 8-year-old kid that weighs 80 pounds-ish or less. But I don't know. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
You're fine. However, on July 11th, 1995, his remains were found. And what's really sad is they were actually found just 200 yards away from his grandma's house.
Oh, God.
So they had been searching for him everywhere and he was right there. So the murder... Actually, after they found Jonathan, it raised extra concern because at that time in Canada, they had saw this weird, huge spike in teenage murderers.
Was it local to the reservation or was it shit that was just kind of happening in that area?
It was just kind of happening in that vicinity, in that area.
Really?
Just 2 weeks before Jonathan's murder, 2 14-year-old girls stabbed a man to death. And then...
Whoa, that's fucking heavy because girls usually don't do that shit.
Right. Well, and then not around that same time with the girls stabbing the man to death, 5 teenagers had beaten a fisherman to death. And then 6
What
teens.
the fuck, dude?
Yeah. And
1995 was heavy in Canada.
Yeah, Canada wasn't fucking around with your teenagers. You can't trust them.
God, you guys are some of the most polite motherfuckers, but your teenagers need some ass kickings.
Right? And
I wonder if they said sorry a whole bunch while they were beating that fisherman to death.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Canada.
I don't know what this is about. I know.
And then
you guys have excellent poutine.
At that same time, 6 teenagers had killed a man who was living in a tent. So that was 13 kids who had killed somebody.
But were there motives? Like, were there reasons for any of this shit? It was just like random miscellaneous fucking kids being
buttholes.
Wow.
Yeah, so 13 kids in just a span of a few weeks, not counting Sandy and his little friend who had killed Jonathan. That would make it 15.
Now, what's his friend's name?
The Sandy's little friend?
Yeah.
I don't know, and I'll get to why in a minute.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is the sad part.
Okay,
and
I'm
I'm
listening.
going to try really hard.
Okay, don't make eye contact with me then.
Well, let's not look at each other right now.
We gotta old yeller this.
After some time, it was noted that the daycare that Jonathan went to every day when his mother went to work, the kids were kind of struggling. So they decided that it would be good for the children's mental health to hold a ceremony for him. And so at a daycare, you have kids anywhere from newborn to fucking
9 years old.
Yeah, 9, 10, 12, just depending.
Yeah.
And so they said a way to help the kids cope with the loss of their friend, they should do that ceremony. So all the children decided to write notes to Jonathan, and a lot of the notes were simple things like, we miss you, rest in peace, I'm sorry this happened to you.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah. And...
Okay, I feel like you're trying to soften this blow for me, so just hit me.
Okay. They tied them to balloons, and they did a balloon release. And of course, this is going to be emotional for everybody because the older kids understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
The little kids are still sad. There's adults that are crying. As they release the balloons is when it starts to rain. I got this. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. I gotta take my glasses off.
You got it.
I can't see my notes. So as the rain is falling and it's hitting all of these sweet little children's faces, one of them very innocently said, I don't know if it was a boy or a girl, but had pointed out that it was Jonathan's tears that were falling.
Oh my God. Okay, you gotta get your shit together, because
it was Jonathan's tears that were falling and he was crying too. Yeah, dude.
Oh my God. All right.
I found that and I was like, oh, my heart hole. And I've tried to say it 3 different times out loud. And I get to that point.
Dude, you know I'm a fucking crybaby anyway. And then you're the tough guy and you start fucking crying.
I
know. Oh, man.
It's just sad because it's funny how children say those things as like, right in my little cavity.
For real.
And they do it so innocently. And it reminded me of a personal time with my sister after our dad had died. So I think that's kind of why it hits harder too. But I mean, it's fucking sad. No matter what.
It really, kids say the sweetest shit. I mean.
And that's very profound.
It really is. Well, you remember that little Siamese cat I had, Jones. Mm-hmm. And when Jones got run over,
mm-hmm.
the next day we had like 3 days of mm-hmm. horrifying storms.
Mm-hmm.
And my niece called me and was like, she just realized that.
I'm not looking at you. It's fine.
No, she was like, she just realized that all dogs go to heaven. And so she's mad. And that's Jones having a fit in heaven.
That's awesome.
And she's making, because you knew, like
mm-hmm.
Jones was a horrifying cat. She was feisty as fuck. Small in the grand scheme of things. Mm-hmm. Stupid cat. You know what I mean? Like,
mm-hmm.
but for her to be like, oh, no, she just realized that all dogs go to heaven. I was like,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to need you to not.
I'm going to need you to not.
But those are Jonathan's tears. And he's crying too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So Lilo and Stitch tonight it is.
Right? It's hard because it's just anybody can understand that. Like, you're releasing balloons, all the kids are crying, they're sending notes to him. And then you have this kid that points out, and then everybody agrees that Jonathan's crying too. Like, he misses us too. And I was just like, oh, man.
Okay.
My
Give me a
heart.
second. All right. God damn it.
Yeah. So, sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
I knew it was going to be sad, so I was like, maybe I should go first, and then we get it over with. It's like a Band-Aid. Rip it off.
Well, I can't, because if you cry,
I know.
I'm going to cry, and then we're all going to cry.
Dude, I've become such a soft bitch lately. I don't understand it.
God, finally, it's not just me.
I've never done this before, I promise.
So then what happens?
Okay, so let's bury that part and let's go into sentencing. So in Canada, criminal responsibility doesn't start until age 12. So that's why we don't know anything about.
Oh, the 8-year-old.
Yeah. That
Oh,
helped.
okay.
So he was 7 or 8 and he was actually put into the care of social services. And that's all I know about him. And I don't know if any of our listeners in Canada who are close, who may have been around that time or may know who that kid was or what happened to that kid. Because I don't know that
they would have released any information on him anyway as an 8-year-old.
No. I mean, unless they knew him personally or.
Well, and it would have been local gossip, and that's the only way people would have known. But I don't know that kid necessarily understood the full load.
Yeah, I hope that he's okay.
Probably not.
I know I wouldn't be.
No.
I wasn't okay reading it.
It's kind of like, well, there's been other cases of people that have...
Schizophrenia?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I couldn't think of because Saskatchewan, but they also have schizophrenia. But people who have schizophrenia come back later after they're medicated, after they've been through like rehabilitation and therapy services. They come back and they're like, fuck, I did those things.
Right. And I don't know if that little 7, 8-year-old boy that helped had any of those things. Okay, so like I said, I'm not sure if that kid had schizophrenia as well. I don't know in what way he was able to be talked into helping Sandy Charles.
Well, when you have a kid that's older than you, you look up to them. You want to be like them. Maybe they're cooler than you.
Well, it'd be like your son with my oldest. The age is almost...
exact. And
so
maybe he just wanted to be just like Logan. You know what I mean? Like that would be the thing.
I'm sure
like,
if Logan went to
Joe
and was like, dude, if we do this, you're going to be able to fly.
You could pretty much talk me into that too.
Yeah, right.
Like, dude, at the end of this, you can breathe underwater. I'd be like,
I'm in.
All right. Let's see.
My heart breaks for that kid because he had to be there the whole time Jonathan was being murdered, and we know that was not quick.
A quick, painless death.
Yeah, which makes me really mad. It hurts.
He went through a lot.
So, go ahead. Okay. So Sandy was actually going to be faced with the max sentencing one can get in Canada, which was going to be life in prison without parole until 10 plus years served, and then you might be able to get parole.
It's like 24, 25-ish.
However, a psychiatrist testified that Sandy did not see the victim as human, but as an object whose death was necessary to fulfill his deluded plan. And Sandy's defense attorney, Barry Singer, would push for the insanity plea, and on August 2nd, 1996, he was found not guilty by reason of insanity. So the judge would say that Sandy was, quote, suffering from a mental disorder so as to be exempt from criminal responsibility. And he would be placed at Regional Psychiatric Center. So he was put into a mental institution.
Well, at least maybe then he could get the help that he needed.
However, Sandy grew up and as he's been growing up, he was deemed very dangerous.
Oh, shit.
And with anger issues.
Oh, good. So we're just compounding like all the things
being made
worse.
Basically. In 1998, he actually escaped, but he wasn't captured until the next day. So he was roaming free for a while.
Okay.
And then in 2000, so 2 years later, he had to spend time in solitary because he attacked a prison nurse. And they actually said he will spend more time in a psychiatric center than he would have if he would have went to jail for the murder.
Wow.
Yeah. In 2013, Sandy was transferred to the
Saskatchewan.
Thank you. Hospital. but then was put back into the RPC, so the Regional Psychiatric Center, due to behavioral issues. And he said he did it on purpose because he didn't like the hospital anymore and he didn't want to be there. But he also openly admits that he has anger issues and he's trying to work on them.
Did he ever hurt his younger siblings?
I don't know. There's not much that I could find since everything is
older
minors.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Not the ones with the headlamps, little children.
But the ones under 18.
Yes. So the next year in 2014, Sandy had asked to be transferred back to the hospital, but I don't think that ever happened because that's the last thing that I could really find on him.
Okay.
And
what year was that?
2014.
Hmm.
And so the RPC it acts both as a hospital and a penitentiary, and it has a similar security system to that of a max security prison. So it's both prison
and he got out of there?
Hospital. Mm-hmm. That's the one that he's at, but yeah.
Okay.
And the hospital is just a psychiatric rehab center, which is why he wanted to go back in 2014, because once you go into that hospital, they try to rehabilitate you to see if they can
release you eventually so that you can be a functioning member of fucking
society.
Yeah.
And that's what his goal is. However,
I don't think that's gonna fucking happen.
I don't think that it can. I don't think that he would be safe, not only for himself, but others.
Other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we don't know anything since 2014. Like, he hasn't, as far as my knowledge goes, he has not gone to that hospital. So later, and eventually we'll cover this other case, probably not for a while because this one mentally fucking fucked me.
Of all
cry.
The things.
Mm-hmm. A balloon release.
A balloon release brought tears to your eyes.
I know.
Like, you just got done with
things.
the DPR case and you're like,
it's fine.
Whatever. Balloons. Oh my God. Oh.
I know.
Yeah, I think I anything that has to do with animals or children,
mm-hmm.
I immediately crumble.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't get me wrong. It's not that I'm insensitive to adults, but
I'm a little insensitive to adults because you at least had a chance to live
yeah,
a little bit more.
Mm.
And kids are innocent. Okay. So later in the same town of L'Orange.
I don't know. Somebody in Canada tell us.
Right? Please help me. I'm so terrible at...
Spell it like I'm 5. Do it phonetically.
Right. I am bad at pronunciations.
I just... What did I call that? Pronunciate.
Yeah. So I think it was actually in 2013. I didn't write it down, but we'll eventually cover the case of 5-year-old Lee Bonnieu.
Okay.
Because he was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
The cutest little boy. When we're done, I'll show you a picture. Because I'd
prefer that you did not.
But you need to see it.
Don't be a fucker.
He's so cute. And he was actually murdered by a 10-year-old boy. But since we know Canada, you don't get criminally charged until
you're 12.
Yeah.
But then what do they do with all these, like...
Put them into social services and then
preteen fucking crazy people.
I don't know. But that's all I have on that case. That's a case of...
Dude, I'm still waiting to find out because I've been following that one about that boy in Denver that took his dad's girlfriend's daughter and like nobody will say how she died or how they found her.
Wasn't it the dad's daughter that died and it was the girlfriend's son?
Yeah. Did I say it backwards?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. I'm with you. I got you.
So they finally released like his name and a little, like a few details, but it's still like on the fucking way hush.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn it. I need to, I've been digging into that. I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
He's headed back into court this next week, the 29th.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think I forgot a little piece of information.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. I can't remember. Apparently I didn't write it down in my notes, but I remember from my other notes that Jonathan, his birthday was in December, so he would have been 9 that year. But he was killed in July, and he loved, like, Zorro was his man, which is so cute. So he was all about the mask and the cape and running around with a sword, and God, I'm in love with this child, and so I'm really sad about it. And it doesn't help that I have 3 boys, so naturally I'm like, oh. But
I think you're more sensitive.
Yeah. So that's a case of little Jonathan Timpson and butthole Sandy Charles. But how heartbreaking is it even for him? I mean, he has schizophrenia. It's something that he's being helped with.
Like monitored, but still, I mean, like,
wants
he can't
to have a normal life, but he also knows that he'll never get that.
That would drive me mad.
Yeah.
Like, mentally, I think it would drive me mad.
So, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, with the death of Jonathan Timpson, they lost 3 kids because the other kid went to social services. And Sandy, he's living, but he's existing.
He's
not
existing.
Living.
Right. He's breathing air.
Yeah. So anyways, that's my story. So tell me yours.
So before I tell you my story, let's talk about studiosweden.com.
Oh, yeah.
Because these gangster ass fucking headphones we've got. If you guys want to go check out studiosweden.com, there's the offer code ColorMeDead15 for 15% off. You guys can go check out all the super cool models that they have. They have auxiliary cord as well as Bluetooth. They've got 24 hours of active battery life if they were on like nonstop.
And 20
days of standby.
Yeah,
so,
I love my headphones.
I do too.
I rock them all the time. And it was so great because earlier when one of our friends called, I had these bad boys on.
And you can answer through your headphones?
Yeah, and I was just talking like this.
Yeah,
through.
No.
I was doing my makeup.
You're just walking around the house talking.
Yeah.
And I know, dude, it's like some shit out of the Jetsons. I love it.
I do too. I feel so fancy. So come and be fancy with us.
I'm so fancy. You don't even know. I don't even know if that's really the fucking lyrics. I don't really listen to that shit.
I don't know either. But make sure you go through studiosweden.com for it because it's cheaper through there. If you try to go and type up like studio headphones in Amazon, like $200.
Yeah, you're going to get ripped off.
Yeah.
Plus, we got you
a discount.
15% off if you use Color Me Dead 15. So check it out. Go check it out.
Exactly. Do you want to tell your story or do we want to bust through the rest of these mentions?
I think I'll tell my story and then we can like hit some mentions.
Okay.
Except for one.
Okay.
One. What the fuss?
Oh, yes. Rocky did our intro. He walked us in, as you know. And what was really cool is we were talking to Rocky. He lives in Florida. And we were talking to him in the middle of Hurricane
the fucking Irma, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And like shit went fucking south for them.
Oh.
Like I don't think they saw the floodwater, but like shit was down. Cars got crushed. They had fucking looting. Like there were gunshots. They were sleeping in fucking shifts.
Yeah, to protect their shit.
To protect their house.
Yeah.
And in the middle of all this, while sitting out there fucking enjoying himself some whiskey in the middle of a goddamn hurricane.
He recorded that intro and it sounds fucking beautiful.
Awesome. I know.
Yeah. We just said, hey, send us a promo sometime.
Do you ever feel like that should be something where you're like, damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
Yeah.
Feel a gangster. Like.
Dude, just.
So you're like,
your shoulder off.
Fuck,
man.
You're just sitting out in the middle of a hurricane recording intros.
Yeah, like
you fucking savage.
Pro.
God,
and I appreciate it. And he gave us a shout out on his last episode, and it was so funny.
Yes, and he also threw down on Facebook and on the podcast promotion.
Yeah, but in the episode. He had mentioned Color Me Dead, and I can't remember who else said it. And he's like, Color Me Dead. I hate it already. And he's like, no, you don't. I laughed so hard. I was like,
I hate it already.
Fucking awesome. It was so funny.
You can hate the name, but try and hate this podcast. I dare you. Try
to hate us. I'll find you.
Because I'd find you. So,
he's on the moon.
Oh, I love you so much for that one.
I say that to Chad every time he walks away from me.
That's awesome.
Okay, tell me your story.
So mine is kind of like where the satanic panic was turning into like people were blaming music artists for their kids being fucking retards. And don't get upset when I say the word retard. I know a lot of people don't like that word.
But in the context in which...
Okay, your kids were being idiots.
Means the same thing.
I know, but there's a lot of people that don't care for that word.
Here's the difference. And I can't remember the comedian that said it. And it's a comedian that had... What is his name? Josh Blue? Something like that. Sean and Diane have seen him a couple of times. He actually has a mental disability.
Oh, really?
And he talks about saying retard all the time. And he's like, no. See, the difference is he calls other people. He's like, you're a fucking retard. You know why? Because I work at the best of my ability. I'm firing with everything that I have. You are considered, quote, normal. And you're choosing to be fucking stupid. So you're the retard.
I like it. I like it.
That's how I...
Fair enough.
Find it, kind of take it.
So
you're fully capable
of
mentally, but you're choosing to act like a douchebag.
Right. because this is essentially where this is going to go. Like, remember when everybody was like, oh my God, Marilyn Manson. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, Slayer. Oh my God, Pantera. Metallica. Fucking Korn.
Let's blame everybody else on our bad parenting.
Yeah. Like, let's not swallow the pill and just say that maybe we were completely fucking inept.
Mm-hmm.
Because
maybe we should have talked to our kids.
Oh my God, what a novel idea. Let's have a conversation with our fucking children.
Right? My kids' favorite band. They fight every time we get into the truck.
Lamb of God.
Jameson wants Lamb of God and Joey wants Tool.
I knew it.
They love it. They love Slayer. They love Metallica. They love all those things.
Because we're metalheads trying to raise metal babies. But you know what? My son listens to a lot of 1940s.
Oh, dude. My top 3 favorite bands. Lamb of God, Tool, Frank Sinatra.
I can't get mad at you for like Sinatra at all.
Sinatra is my shit.
Because I could be like, somewhere under the stars. Yeah, dude, I can get down on that shit.
I used to...
Like Bobby, what's his name? That does, forget it. I'm having a moment. Anyway, I like that stuff, but my kid listens to like a lot of 1940s, 50s, 60s type shit.
I love that shit.
And then Paige is like a mix of one day she might be listening to Hatebreed and Pantera, but then she'll be listening to like One Direction in the morning. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
But I can get down on that, like being that eclectic kid.
Oh, our house is very much like that. The only thing that's off limits is country. I can't do.
I like old country, dude.
I can respect it. I still don't like it.
That's fair.
I like Johnny Cash.
That's not exactly country. No. I mean, a touch of it is, I suppose.
And I still think his
but unless you
cover
like
of Hurt from 9 Inch Nails is better than 9 Inches. 9 Inch Nails.
9 inches?
9 inches of
nails. I don't know, dude. 9 inches sounds pretty dangerous. There's songs like, if you guys don't know who Sammy Kershaw is, there's a song that he does called The Queen of My Double Wide Trailer. And that song, I still cry when I hear it because it reminds me of my mom and my dad. And I'm like, oh, and I like that old country. But anyway.
That's like Jim Croce with Time in a Bottle. My dad dedicated that song to my mom and I fucking love that song.
Oh, do you get all weepy when you listen to it?
I'm getting weepy thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I fucking love all that kind of music. When I was growing up, when we would sit down and we would have game night pretty much almost every night, we listened to anything and everything. It would go from Tool to Korn to fucking James
like Linkin
Brown
Park
to Linkin Park, back over to it was called Curtis and Saldago was the name of the album.
I wish my mom had been a little bit cooler.
Best fucking album ever.
Because like my mom listened to a lot of Cher.
Oh, so did my mom.
And if I ever hear the fucking song, If I Could Turn Back Time, I would turn back time and maybe assassinate that record producer.
Yeah. Cher, Celine Dion.
Oh my God.
ABBA, Ace of Base.
I still love ABBA, dude.
I do too. I still love ABBA.
If you change your mind, I'm the first in line. Honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. Yeah. Oh my God, I love you so much right now.
I fucking love ABBA, dude.
Me too.
Yeah, ABBA, Ace of Base.
Knowing me, knowing you. Oh God. See,
there is nothing
we can't do. Knowing me, knowing you. Oh wow.
We're gonna have to cut all this out. It's probably gonna sound like dog shit.
Whatever. You better fucking leave that. I don't care if it sounds like shit or not. That was gangster. Like you just sang fucking ABBA with me. I'm pumped.
Dude, I haven't listened to ABBA in so long.
Oh my God. My mom listened to like so much Bob Seger and shit. The episode will be short anyway. Like you can leave this in. It's fine.
We'll see how it sounds.
Fuck that. You better leave it.
I sound like a cat being raped by David Parker Ray.
My voice gives people the Rifkins. Oh God. So essentially this case is called Blame Slayer. And this also took place in 1995. On the night of July 22nd in 1995, 3 boys by the names of Jacob Delashmutt.
Schmutz.
All I know is that your fucking last name sucks.
Your last name makes me verklempt.
Your last name sounds like a fucking dump road. Your last name sounds like you fucking
step in something?
Your parents are closely related and they couldn't pronounce their real last name, so they just came up with a new one and they tried to sound it out and that's what they got. Fuck. Okay. Joseph Fiorello and Royce Casey. Who the fuck names their kid Royce? He was destined to fail. Anyway, they met up with
Royce Casey.
Royce.
Reminds
Casey.
me of Roy Yancey.
Ugh. Yep. It's almost like one of those things where you ghostwriter it and rearrange the letters and you're like, oh, you were going to be a fuck up anyway. But so they meet up with this little girl named Elise Paler and they took her to like this place called Olympus Grove. Mm-hmm. And this is in the Nipomo Mesa, Arroyo Grande in California. And they were basically like, come party with us.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what she thought. So she's like watching TV with her mom and dad. Mm-hmm. And she gets a message, gets a phone call.
Old school, when you had to call people.
I know. And actually like talk to them in real life.
And you know that dad was like, fucking boys calling my daughter this late. 9 pieces of shit.
I know. And she's like twisting the phone cord on her fucking finger. Mm-hmm. But she gets a message. She gets a call from these kids. They're like, come party with us. Come get fucked up. Mm-hmm. She's like, yeah, all right. However, what happened next is like off the fucking meter. So that night they would actually murder her and then take turns raping her corpse.
Ted Bundy in it, huh?
Sort of.
Good.
And it was like over an extended period of like weeks. They held
delicious.
They held her corpse hostage. They stuffed it away and like hid it and continued to rape her corpse over like a month. Yeah, dude.
I just had the worst
visual.
No, I'm not coping well with
say it out loud.
What was said. So I was thinking of they would have no problem eating out any bitch anytime in their life. The smell would never get to them.
Oh, yeah, no.
Honey,
how?
Don't worry about that pussy cheese. I fucked a dead girl for 3 weeks. I'm good.
I got this. Don't you fret.
I'm sorry. That's what happens to my mind when I get nervous.
You have a yeasty beastie. Don't you? I got it. Little extra cheese on that taco.
Just whipped cream on the top of a pie.
No big deal.
What?
Many moons they raped a corpse. So
ew.
It was
ew. And all 3 of them. What were they doing? Just like hanging out? Hey, dude.
Swimming in each other's filth, literally with their genitals.
Dude, you want to go rape her again? You want to desecrate her body some more?
Did
this
you want
isn't fucked up, right? This is what normal fucking kids do, right?
Like, for like, you know.
Every time we're hanging out, we always go find a stiffy. No. Sorry.
It was funny on a lot of different levels, but like
uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, but
motto.
where in life do you make eye contact with a friend and you're like, remember that dead girl we put in the bushes? Did you want to go fuck it? I'll go first.
Ew.
Well, okay.
Where is any of their conscience through any of that? Okay, I can even understand maybe the night of the murder because emotions, whatever.
Right, but many weeks later, like
continue coming
as she's necrotizing. Hold on, I irped.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised one of them didn't get that weird fucking the necro disease. Mm-hmm. Where they get like bacteria and shit in their peepees.
All I'm thinking of is
I can't remember the name of it.
This poor sweet girl that was murdered, which is bad enough. Then these guys are coming back while there's going to be maggots on her body.
Oh, yeah.
Maggots are I can't.
I don't, dude, you know what? Like, and you see that thing where they use medical maggots to clean wounds and shit. If somebody was like, we're going to have to put maggots in that, I'd be like, I don't fucking need it.
Take the leg. Take the leg.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't want it.
I'm good.
So Elise Paler was born April 24th, 1980. So she was like around my age. Mm-hmm. Her parents, of course, described her as like a genuinely good kid.
Well, yeah.
She did enjoy a good party, and she was kind of known to be like that little drinker, smoker.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it was 1995.
Dude, I can't even begin to tell you the shit I got into in 1995.
It was, come on, it was the
I was smoking weed in the bucket of a cat across the street from the Powerhouse Theater when live Nine Spine Stickleback, it was a band out of Salt Lake, would come there to pay. Yeah, play. And I was smoking weed with 2 of my friends in the bucket of a cat in the fucking equipment rental out of a fucking pop can, which is probably why I'll end up with Alzheimer's. But
worth it.
1995. Woo! Woo!
Bad eyebrows, greasy hair, anything goes.
So bad.
Mhm.
So bad.
Mhm.
So anyway, she was kind of known to be a little bit of a party kid, but the boys who actually ranged from age 15 to 18 were in a band that they called themselves Hatred.
Of
And
course they did.
You sassy little
So
minxes.
edgy.
I know. Fuck.
We're hatred.
We're gonna need a pillow for this, a little less edgy. Fuck. God. So they were known to be like smokers, drinkers. They got into weed. They were like hitting the devil's lettuce and
The
giggle bush. But they literally tried to kill this girl before.
Okay. Honey? Oh, sweet baby, why would you go and hang out? If somebody tried to kill me, I'm never fucking speaking to them again.
But she didn't get it because the guys that were supposed to like initiate it and continue failed. So one of the other kids...
They were a good person and their conscience finally kicked in?
Right.
Okay.
So they thought that she would kind of be like the ultimate offering or like the ultimate sacrifice, and that this would please the devil, this would please Satan, and it would help them play the guitar better.
This pleases me that you raped a corpse for 3 weeks. I will give you sweet riffs.
And they... You will no longer read tabs. You will play music like Tenacious D. It's, you know what? Fuck taking like legitimate music lessons. We're just going to sacrifice this little girl because then it would help them become professional and famous because it was going to make Satan happy. Mm-hmm.
Do you know him? Does he call you at home?
Do you guys have sleepovers and braid each other's hair?
Do you have horns?
You are being so funny right now, and I'm so thankful for it. So they kind of thought that, like, based on what they had read or researched or fucking who knows, these kids are stupid. They thought that, like, the blonde hair, blue-eyed virgin was, like, the ultimate sacrifice. And so that's kind of where they brought her in.
So are you into Satanism or are you like Hitler's soldier boy? How do you know what Satan likes? Maybe Satan likes a brunette with big tits. You don't fucking know these things.
Maybe he likes a black girl with blonde hair. Yep. You don't know.
You don't fucking know.
I bet Satan loves a wondrous variety of pussy.
He loves them all. # all pussy matters.
I love you. So they actually going back to like when they tried to kill her before, they actually pretended to fall like down this little ravine and shit. And she came like running down there to get him or whatever.
Oh, she's nicer than
and
I am.
I know, because I'd have been like,
haha,
get up, pussy. So it was Delashmut. Fuck. I can't say his name.
Just say his first name if you have to.
I don't even want to say it. Jacob.
What an unoriginal cunt.
Delashmut. Whatever. So anyway, they would pretend to fall down this little ravine and she would like run down there to help him. And then the Fiorello kid had a knife and he was supposed to like yeet her. Yeah. And the other kid that was with him just like stood there and did nothing. And so the other two were like, deer in the fucking headlights. So then they joked about it. They were like, oh, we were just trying to scare you and ha ha ha, it's all fucking jokes. So she didn't report anything because she thought it was like a funny ha ha.
She's just a sweet little naive baby.
So but then all that did was give them more time to like prepare for it the next time.
Premeditated douchebag.
Yeah, and like bring on the other fucking kid, sorry, I gotta flip this over, Royce, and like bring him in so that he could be like more of a driving force because I think the other two wanted to do it, but they were so chicken shit that they needed somebody else to like, like egg him on and get him there. So on the night of the murder, they actually, they call Elise, they invite her to come out and they take her to Eucalyptus Grove where they start drinking, they're smoking weed. Kind of the last thing she said to her parents was like, I love you, I'm going to bed. Because she had to sneak out to go hang out with these fucking kids. I know. So it's like 11:30. She sneaks out of the house and they thought she was in bed. So they weren't going to worry about it.
This is why I still check on my kids and I will probably do it.
This is why I'm thankful I live in a fucking 150-year-old Victorian.
Yeah, there's no
I hear
sneaking
every fucking noise, dude. You can't get anywhere.
They fart wrong and you're going to hear
dude,
it.
I can hear my snake sneeze 2 rooms away. Like, nobody gets away with shit in my house. I love it.
Sneeze, that's awesome.
Wait for it to happen one day. Hopefully you'll be there when he sneezes. It's amazing. Or like when he yawns. That's my favorite thing too. Anyway, so, and she met with the boys at like 11:30 and the attack happened like within the hour. They weren't fucking around. Like they were drinking really heavy. They wanted her inebriated. So while they were sitting around, Jacob DeLashma took a belt that he was wearing and he like pulled it off, walked up behind her and started strangling her from behind. And I think they quickly realized that like strangulation is a little bit more difficult than you think. So they yanked her down into the grass, and that's where they took turns stabbing her with an antler handled knife. So like a buck knife, like a hunting knife. She suffered. She was stabbed 12 times in the chest and neck and did not die. None of them were fatal. So I don't know if the knife wasn't sharp or if they just weren't
delivered in the right area
or driven with force. Do you know what I'm saying? If they were just like poke, 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 because they
don't know what they're doing.
Well, they don't know what they're doing, and I don't think they really wanted to do it.
Right.
Because they had attempted it before, and they're under the impression this is what they have to do to be successful and famous, but they couldn't do it because the other kid didn't initiate.
Satan's approval and just try to get your daddy's approval, please. Fuck.
Maybe you guys could just do cocaine and drop out of college like the rest of us.
Yeah, just freebase some cocaine.
Right? Play ultimate frisbee on the weekends, waste a lot of money.
The more drugs you do, the better you're going to think you sound. It's fine.
Something. Don't kill little girls.
Right.
So at one point, she's like laying face down. And she's now crying for her mom, which rightfully fucking so. I still cry for my mom when I'm sick. So they leave her there and she's like praying. And she's like crying for her mom. And she's like praying for forgiveness and like
doing
all of the things that kids might do to comfort themselves in this time. And they started stomping on her back and like her neck and shit to
try to
like
stop the sounds.
Yeah. And they eventually just stomped on her neck until she quit making noise.
What pieces of shit.
I don't know if they broke her neck or if they crushed like her
windpipe.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys.
Because she just stopped making noise. So it was at that point that they took turns raping her body.
It wasn't bad enough. Okay.
No, like we're gonna stab it, we're gonna stomp it,
then we're gonna desecrate the body,
and then but I don't even know that she was dead at this point. She could have been. So that's when they started raping her. Now, some reports will actually say that they only thought about raping her and they actually didn't do it. But if you go back, the boys actually admit, and they admit to doing it for
multiple times. Well, and I think I remember because I think this story was also on that Netflix.
Yeah. Kids that
or the occult crimes.
Yeah, occult crimes. That's what it was.
Something like that.
Yeah, on
I think
Netflix.
Even on that one, they had said.
Well, the boys admitted it.
Yeah. So maybe with the conflicting research or whatever, maybe it's just some people that are like, this is bad. So we're just going to say.
We're just going to say that it's like this is speculation.
And that's one thing that kind of sucks when it comes down to doing research, and especially where we try to go deep in research.
Oh, I know. But you'll get like, it's so difficult when you're getting 4 different stories, or you'll get a person that like hasn't talked about it for 10 or 15 years and their memory might be a little different than what it originally was or whatever. Right. But when they found the body, she had her genitals exposed, and they talked about how it was pretty obvious that she had been
abused. She had been raped.
And the fact that they went back and continually raped, there were like, this is something that I looked up on my own that is a fun little tidbit. There were multiple loads of semen from multiple people in multiple stages of rot in her body.
Oh, yeah. Well, that would make sense.
So I'm thinking maybe it was the parents that were like, they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to admit that their kids have been abusing a fucking corpse.
If I had to face the fact that my son not only killed a girl,
somebody,
but then kept going back
to have sex with it, to rape a corpse. So I think maybe it was the parents. Yeah. Because they say that there might be like a 4th person involved based on the DNA that was like left in her.
Maybe some hobo came by.
Fuck, you never know. So the parents actually realize that she's missing. Like kind of early the next morning, they go in. It's July 23rd at this point. Maybe they went in to wake her up for breakfast. They see that she's not there. It's kind of unclear like how they figure it all out. But she was actually within walking distance of her house. Like, remember how you said that?
Yeah, with Jonathan.
200 yards?
Yeah.
That's kind of how it was for Elise.
And I think there was a study, and I don't remember the full statistics on it, but a lot of accidents happen within
It's a 5 mile.
Yeah.
5 mile radius of your house.
Yeah.
Like car accidents and everything else. But I think her body was actually missing for like 8 months. So they reported her missing. She was gone for like 8 months. And then by this time, Casey has like found Jesus somehow.
One of
like,
the kids.
Royce Casey. Fucking idiot. He is now like found religion. So I don't know if Jesus was hiding in his sock drawer, but he then confesses to the murders.
Oh, good.
So some reports were, it would say that he like had urges to kill and he wanted to get help because he felt like he might kill again. And maybe that's why he turned to religion, is to like get that off his chest and maybe, sorry, I just thumped my mic, but to like feel better about himself and what he had done. So he would say that he was with the other two and they were planning to kill again. He had started to distance him.
Because their sweet riffs never came in. They realized
because
that Satan didn't answer his calls.
Satan was not going to give him the pick of destiny.
Satan did not answer his prayers.
Did not. And some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers, and maybe it is for Satan too. So the other two had started to like plan a secondary like sacrifice because they didn't Bill and Ted themselves into fucking famous.
Right.
In time, we'll be dancing in the streets all night. Oh, Lord. No, they just, obviously, that's not how talent works. So they had started to put some shit together, and he was actually afraid of like them hurting him. Like if he didn't participate and be a part of it.
Right.
And he wanted to be more of a normal person. And so Fiorello and Delashma are the ones that are like, okay, if you don't
come with us.
Right. If you're not, and that's kind of like, I think it was lyrics in their one of their songs. If you're not with us, you may no longer exist. And this was why Royce Casey was actually being like, he was afraid of being murdered because of like the music that he helped them write. But he was like, okay, if I'm not a part of this, then I don't exist, which means they're going to eradicate me.
Yeah. Did they take that from Slayer?
I think they did.
Because I'm pretty sure I've heard that. Maybe I just heard it from, they're probably so unoriginal that they probably stole it.
I feel like that's a stolen lyric.
I'm pretty sure that it is. Now I'm going to have to go back through and find the exact song.
I know. I'm going to go back and Google all my Slayer lyrics, but I'm almost 100% sure that is a stolen lyric.
You pieces of shit.
You unoriginal fuck. So the parents of Elise would actually try and sue the band Slayer in 1996 for saying that their music is like, it's bad for kids, it makes them satanic, and they fucking target children.
No. I'm pretty sure nowhere Slayer was like, hi little kids, do you want some candy?
You'll float down here too.
We all float down
here.
No.
It's not like they were fucking going out and being like,
you know what we should do, guys?
Do you know what the good word of Satan? Yeah, do you know what the good word of Satan is? Did you know he also likes Rocket Pops? Here, have one on us.
He loves push-up pops.
Fucking Satan loves sherbet. Do you like sherbet? So does the devil.
No, I guarantee that would be like us doing this podcast and us being like, let's only play it for children.
Go to the elementary school. Hey, do you know how the podcast app works on your fucking phone that you shouldn't have?
Yeah. Hey, no, never.
No.
Stop it.
So obviously Slayer is not the problem. Obviously. But that doesn't really stop it, because in 2001, the judge ruled that while their music was a bit much, it doesn't like push listeners into killing people, raping corpses, fucking that kind of thing. But the parents don't stop.
Right.
Like they keep going. So he also said that it's not harmful to listen to, and it would go against their First Amendment rights to actually side in the favor of the parents, which it would.
Right.
Even though the band said that they don't do things specifically to target children or make it satanic or anything like that, which anyway, if you know anything about Slayer, you'd know that. I mean, going back to the whole thing, like, you listen to metal, I listen to metal, we kind of raise metal kids.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, do you think either one of my kids could, like, go out and murder somebody and then fucking defile a corpse for...
No, and actually, when it comes down to it, usually metalheads have the biggest hearts.
Right? Like if a kid gets fucking, like if they down in a pit, they'll get picked up.
Yeah. Go watch the documentary of As the Palaces Burn from Lamb of God.
Fucking right.
And watch that shit.
Hell yeah.
Watch that shit.
I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah.
Because that's a good one. That's a really good one. So, you know, on the other hand, if your kids are buying books on the occult, if they're playing with things that they don't understand and they're under some fucking supernatural understanding. Yeah, man, like fucking have a conversation. Like if they think that they can make a deal with some weird crossroad demons, cut their fingers, touch them together. And like suddenly be famous.
Maybe instead of
you're the fucking problem.
Yeah, maybe instead of buying them a bunch of occult books, buy them a fucking guitar lesson. I don't know. Crazy.
Maybe call a counselor.
Maybe.
Like take them to town, get them some ice cream.
Yeah, I'm not saying freak out on any kid who is interested in the occult, because I was one of those. I was one of those kids, but at least check in and see where they're at mentally.
No, and I think it's unfair for like all of these parents to get together and they're like, oh, you know what the problem is? Fucking Slayer
music. Yeah.
No, honey.
When I went through that whole thing of metal is of the devil and shit.
For me and my mom, it was 9 Inch Nails. It was Marilyn Manson. Like, you shouldn't listen to that because it's making you crazy. No, I'm
crazy
just
with happiness.
I'm just a teenager. I'm gonna be crazy. And I'm a female. I bleed once a month. Let me be crazy.
I remember when Closer came out.
Oh my God, so was I.
And I was...
Dude, I was like 13. And my mom was like, I recorded it on VHS. I think I still have it in the garage. And I would just rewind it and rewind it and rewind it and keep listening to it. My mom flipped the fuck out and came out into the living room and was like, if I hear that song one more time, I'll burn this house down with you in it. And I was like...
I remember listening and I was young. And just when he's like, penetrate you, and he whispers it, I was like, I love this song for some reason. I don't know why.
You're like, I don't even know what that means.
But I love it. That and Marcy Playground, Sex and Candy. Fucking loved that song, dude.
It took me... Did you ever hear Marcy Playground's, it's called White Walls? Or she's an 8-ball, she's rolling faster than a white wall.
It's catchy as fuck. And then you
like start listening to the lyrics and you're like, oh God. Yeah.
Or Bloodhound Gang, Discovery Channel.
Oh shit.
Dude, like those were and I was like 6. There's some problems.
The fucking Bloodhound Gang, when they do that, like, the lap dance is so much better when the stripper is crying. Do, 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 do. It's like the little Casio keyboard demo.
So great.
Fuck, dude. So anyway.
Okay.
In August of 1997, all 3 were convicted separately in San Luis Obispo Superior Court. They all pled no contest. They were all sentenced 25 to life. So that's all I've got, though. Like, I don't know where they are now.
I think, maybe I'm getting my stuff a little confused, but didn't Royce or whoever came in who admitted it, didn't he have like a journal?
I'm not 100% sure.
I might be thinking of a different case, but I want to say that he had a journal that documented everything in that time, and it was for a class. It was for like a language arts class or something, and the teacher said that they would never read it, and then the teacher actually went back, and everything that happened with that murder was in the book, was in the journal.
You could be totally right, and I didn't know that detail.
I might be thinking of a different Kids Who Kill Kids, though. So I'm not sure.
I don't know, dude. Sometimes I read shit. And I'll go back and be like, fuck, I muddled the facts in that one.
I'll have to double check. So
hit me with some like word wisdom from our friend.
Oh yes. Okay. So when I was up camping, I was reading Outside Your Door from Stephen Lampley, who we talk about all the time. And there's 2 stories in here. And this book is awesome. It really is. I had to put it down because I was getting too emotional. There was parts in here where I ugly cried, and then the next second I was laughing my ass off. One part that I cried was when this guy, this black male, he was like in his 30s, he shows up to the precinct and he says, I can't take care of my kids anymore. My wife and I were struggling too much, and he's bawling about it. So they go to the house and they see that it's bad. There's no water. There's no anything. He's been cooking. They made a fire in the backyard.
Oh, wow.
The kids are dirty. it's really bad. So they ended up having to take the kids. So that made me cry. But then a few months later, they were able to find a job and actually get their kids back. So
nice.
There's that. And then there was one where he was out on patrol with his partner and they thought that there was a robbery or a heist or something. And his partner sees somebody in the department store. So he's yelling at him and he's screaming like, put your hands up, blah, blah, blah. And so Stephen Lampley comes around the corner and he's trying to look into the window without getting his face blown off. And he looks in real fast and he looks back out and he realizes that whatever he saw didn't move. So he looks again. A little bit longer. It still doesn't move at all. So then he stands there. Oh my God,
they're yelling at a mannequin.
Yes. I laughed so hard. So there's a lot of, it's a roller coaster, if you will, of different emotions. And I love it. However, I was reading and I came across these two stories. And one reminds me of you when you get a little bit older. And the other one reminds me of me when I get a little bit older. So the one that reminds me of you is called Chicken Leg. Okay. I hadn't been on the street long, still assigned to my field training officer, when we received a call of a shooting victim on Higdon Road, just outside of the Gate City housing project. We arrived at this small frame home in a lower middle-class neighborhood before the paramedics. Not sure what we were about to encounter, we used caution as we approached the front door. We were standing on the sides of the doorway as my FTO knocked. In a short time, a male opened the glass storm door and let us in. He let us know that it was his brother who had been shot and was laying on the floor in the den, but he was still alive. As we entered the den, we noticed that the victim was still alert and talking, but was laying on the floor with an obvious gunshot wound, or a gunshot to his right leg. The Super Bowl was on TV, and there was two recliners slightly canted facing the television and side by side, except for a TV dinner tray between them. There was a large plastic bowl in the center of that tray. Beer cans were abundant around the room. I asked the gentleman who answered the door what had happened and who shot the man. Quickly, he answered, "I shot him," in a matter-of-fact voice. "Why did you shoot him?" I inquired as my partner unloaded the gun. "We was watching the game and there was one chicken leg left and he grabbed it from me." "You shot your brother because he got the last chicken leg?" "Hell yeah, brother or not, he ain't got no right taking this last chicken leg."
Oh my God, that is legit me.
I know.
I will fucking fight you over food.
I laughed so hard. I was like, oh my God. So I was like, that's funny. I'm going to have to remember to read this to Angel. The very next story, I was like, oh my God, this is me.
Okay,
when I'm older.
I'm excited.
This one is called 50-cent Candy Bar. Having answered numerous shoplifter calls at his store, I had become friends with the drugstore manager in Roebuck, a suburb of the northeastern part of Birmingham, Alabama. I received a call from dispatch to respond to another shoplifter call in the drugstore. Entering the store, I walked to the manager's office, which was a raised open platform area in the front store with 3 steps to the half door. I stepped up to the steps and peered over, looking at the manager sitting at his desk to my left. In front of me was an older gentleman, perhaps in his late 50s, dressed in a full 3-piece suit and looking as if he might have been the drugstore chain's district manager.
Okay.
Or regional manager. The manager and I exchanged hellos and I inquired to the location of the shoplifter, thinking maybe this was not actually be a shoplifter call with the suspect in custody. The manager made his head gesture, throwing his head to his left as if to indicate this well-dressed male sitting behind him. "This is your shoplifter?" I asked inquisitively. He didn't answer except for to smile at me and shook his head in the affirmative. Looking at the gentleman in front of me, "You are the shoplifter?" I asked the gentleman, somewhat amused. "Yes, sir. What did you steal?" Before the shoplifter could answer, the manager held up a Snickers bar. "You stole a candy bar?" I asked in a semi-laugh in disbelief. "Yes, sir. Are you hungry and can't afford something to eat?" "No, sir. I have more than enough cash in my pocket to pay for it, and I have credit cards I could have used. I just have a problem." "And your problem is?" "I can't stop stealing things. I guess you could call me a kleptomaniac." Shaking my head in the affirmative. "Yeah, I guess we would." Picking up the handheld radio, I notified dispatch. 87. 87, go ahead. 87, hold me 10:15, which means arrest. 1084, en route to city jail. So I was like, yeah, that would totally be me, just thinking I'm some sort of fucking badass as I stole a candy bar.
I'm gonna take this fucking Snickers.
I just have a problem.
I just have a Yep. Yes, you do.
I'm a klepto.
Fuck me.
A candy bar. Oh. Anyways, so that's the end. That's the end of this. But I do have to say that we have to talk about Just Killing Time real quick. So Just Killing Time is, think...
like loot crates for freaks.
Crime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Way better than Hunt a Killer. Way better. So they're actually...
I have much excite.
Yes. So they're going to have badassery. They'll have collectible items.
Badassery?
Yeah.
Mary.
Collectible items,
Okay.
shirts, memorabilia, and all things like true crime fancies.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And we're actually friends with one of the
Creators
yes.
and owners.
Yeah, Kayla Ren.
Mm-hmm.
I would call her Kylo Ren all the time. Yep. Anyways, so basically, guys, if you go to justkillingtime.org, and I'll put the description in our thing, sign up now. There's going to be trailers that are coming out.
They're getting ready to launch.
Yes.
So if you guys get in on it now.
Come be the first with us.
Yeah.
So
well, because, then we can all play and get our fucking boxes of awesome.
We could do like a group open.
Oh, we can go live again.
Yay.
Yay.
We will. Because we're already signed up.
Okay, but I want you to stop saying open my box.
Open my box. It's a serial killer in a box.
Okay, but when I can't with the word box, it's like butthole.
1, cut a hole in the box. 2, put the victim in the box.
I still to this day, one of my favorite memes is Maleficent.
Mm-hmm. Who put the stick
Who put the dick in this box? And then it shows a picture of Jeffrey Dahmer. And he's just such a good one.
Yes.
We got to talk about Stephen David Lampley. I just want to thank you so much for everything you've ever done to help us.
Dude, I love him. He doesn't know
Dude,
this, but I've adopted him. He's like my dad now. He just doesn't know.
Well, I think the best thing is that like he's so interactive.
Oh yeah,
with us, and when we have questions, and
him and I have had a lot of like personal conversations.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had told him about my dad. He had told me about his dad, and like there's quite a few similarities. Like they were both around the same age.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. So I love him, and I love his books. There's the Outside Your Door. There's
Stephen. You now have a ginger daughter that you may have never wanted.
Yeah, you may not. I'm the redheaded stepchild. You just don't get a choice anymore. So thank you. Go and order his books. Kratos is trying to make himself comfortable over there.
I don't know what he's doing. Oh God,
Jesus!
Will you go bring my dog inside, please?
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I forgot I left my dog outside.
I did too.
Poor little cricket.
Probably out there. Bow.
I haven't heard her, but
neither. Anyways. So thank you. Go get his books. Read them with us. He actually, Serial Killers is out. Ours are on their way.
Yes.
We can read those. I'm so excited. Also, thank you to Twisted Philly and BSP for doing our promos.
Yes.
Today.
Yes.
Go and check those guys out.
Also, if you guys have not followed us on Twitter or Facebook, I found a new
Ear Hustle.
Oh my God. I found a new podcast that I'm like, like way fucking addicted to it. And it's called,
cool.
It's called Ear Hustle. And it's actually, it's done and produced within the walls of San Quentin Prison. Mm-hmm. And it's done by people who are serving either life sentences or long, like many year sentences.
Right.
And it's done by a guy named Erlon, a lady named Nigel, and another guy named Antoine. Mm-hmm. And, it's extremely fascinating. Definitely go check it out.
It's definitely informative. Like
it gives me a different perspective on some stuff, but I had actually reached out to him.
Hi, baby.
Hi, Creaky.
Your dog is such spaz.
I know.
You guys aren't done yet?
We're wrapping it up right now.
We're on the last part.
Anyway.
Hi, baby.
Ear Hustle gives you. I had asked them what their perspective was on the death penalty.
Yeah. Sorry.
You're having like a little kid moment over my dog.
I know. She's so cute. Okay.
Listen to
Oh my God. Look at it. Oh, I'm so
but when
right
she
now.
sits and just whines.
Oh, I don't
all the fucking time, dude.
She can live with me.
God, keep her. Go give her to 10.
Oh, I will. Oh my God, you're so cute.
Okay, well, just know that I'm not taking her home. And when Quinn comes home and she's like,
we'll be right out, Gypsy. You old man.
I know. I'm probably headed that way. Oh, fuck, it's 10 o'clock. So anyway, we'll check out Ear Hustle. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Yes.
Check us out on Facebook.
Yep. Twitter, Instagram.
All the places.
Color Me Dead podcast.
And you can find us on Podbean, Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes.
We're like her.
Overcast.
We're always coming back.
We're everywhere. Find us. Find us, guys.
Get rid of us.
And recommend us. And rate us and review. Subscribe.
Yes, the biggest way that you can support us is by going and reviewing us or just telling somebody about us.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be getting our Patreon set up soon. I actually had somebody ask us about that.
I've had that too, and
it's
so complicated.
It is. God, I don't want to sound like a fucking retard.
And I feel weird being like,
give me your money.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because then it's like,
I feel dirty.
I know. Do I have to make eye contact with you afterwards? Because I don't want to be that whore.
Well, right? And my heart hurt when Milo, our little, she follows us on Twitter.
Yeah.
She's so cute. I love her to death. And I said, hey, can we send you some stickers? And she had said, well, I'm not a Patreon person, because apparently other podcasts, if you become a Patreon member, then you get a sticker.
Motherfucker, you get a sticker as long as you rep the fuck out of it.
Yeah, you be cool with us, and we'd love to send you stickers.
I'll even send you one of my Oreos in a crack sack.
In a crack sack. That was from our Facebook Live earlier. But yeah, it hurt my little soul because she's telling everybody about us all the time.
I know.
My Uber driver said,
I know. And she was like, check these guys.
So I said,
when I read that comment, I was like, baby, give me a hug.
Angel. If any of you guys want a sticker, come
Tell
talk
us.
to us.
I know. All you got to do is review us somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to make you give me money.
No, don't feel weird saying, hey, can I have a sticker? Because I'm going to give you a sticker.
I'm going to give you a sticker. Yeah. Oh, I need to grab a couple so I can take it to that little girl at IFA.
I will give you some. And then we need to order new stickers with our black logo.
But it's 10 o'clock at night. I have not yet had dinner. I'm
hungry. My stomach growls.
I'm starting to get like the shakes. I'm so hungry. I love you.
I love you.
And maybe not blame.
Don't watch Warlock.
And don't blame Slayer. And stay out of chalk lines. Goodbye.
Bye.
You don't have to be from Philadelphia to love the Twisted Philly podcast.
There's more mischief, mayhem, and nefarious goings-on in the city of brotherly love than Billy Penn could have ever imagined. We've got it all here on the Twisted Philly podcast.
Hi, I'm Dina Marie, the host of Twisted Philly. Join me every week for some of my favorite stories from the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. We'll talk about true crime, haunted history, legends and local lore, plus some of my most favorite places to visit all around Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. You can follow me on social media, on Facebook at The Twisted Philly Podcast, and on Twitter at Twisted_Philly. And you can find my show on all major podcast apps. Plus, if you're a Patreon supporter, you get access to exclusive content twice a month that isn't available to other listeners. Join me every week in Twisted Philly.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I'm the believer.
And I'm Cody, I'm the skeptic.
And together we are
BSP, the Idiosyncrasy Files,
a podcast where two idiots debate weird phenomena.
So if you have an interest in subjects like spirituality, the supernatural, cryptozoology, and other big words, you've come to the right place.
So sit back, have a themed drink with us, and listen to our show.
We promise it'll be a good time. So subscribe now, rate, and review.
You can find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Bye!